So today we are going to talk about the basic workflow of video editing. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional, I'm just an amateur. Everything I'm going to show you is self-taught from experience of over 3 years of video editing and shooting. So before we start, quick intro. The camera that I'm using currently is the Sony a7 III, the one that is shooting right now, and the only lens that I use is the Tamron 24-70mm f2.8. So let's jump into Premiere Pro to get things started. So we start off by creating a sequence. Right-click, New Item, and Sequence. Now choose HDV 1080p 24 frames per second and click OK. Now you have your sequence. This is where the editing will take place. The next thing to do is to import our clips. We can do that by right-clicking and choosing Import. I'm sorry for the technical problems, but for some reason, we cannot see anything on the screen record after right-clicking. So I'm just gonna post a screenshot of each settings that we are going to choose, like what I did on the first one. Second thing is I cut my audio. Usually, a full song is around 3 to 4 minutes. I sometimes use the full song and sometimes cut it into 2 or 1 minute. Usually what I do to make the cut seamless is I connect the beats that are similar or the beats that are about to drop and add an audio crossfade transition. So I'm going to play the song to give you an idea.
And I will learn, it'll all be fine this time. I don't learn, cause you always seem so kind. And I don't learn, it'll all be fine this time. And I don't learn.
So on the audio transitions, I use constant power to connect the cuts, constant gain to start an audio, and exponential fade to end an audio seamlessly. So moving forward, just double click one clip you like, then it will appear at the source panel on the left side of your screen. Now we are going to scan through the clip. We are going to press I to determine the intro of the clip and O to determine the outro of the clip. Now we drag it into our timeline, and there you have it. That's the first step of creating a video sequence. And another thing, if your clip comes out zoomed in or out, it's because it has a different frame size to your sequence. What you need to do is right-click and set to frame size. So after a few minutes of editing, we have come up with a short sequence. So we added 2 raw clips into our sequence. I'll play the video to let you know how these raw clips look like.
how to learn, know how to learn. It'll all be fine this time. And how to learn, know how to learn. 'Cause you always seem so kind. And
notice that the last two clips are a bit shaky. So one of the most important effects that I use in Premiere Pro to smoothen clips is the warp stabilizer. We right click the clip first and then click nest. Then after nesting, go to your effects tab and type in warp stabilizer and drag it straight into the clip and wait for the clip to stabilize. While stabilizing, you can see the progress if you go ahead and click the effect controls tab. So let's play the video.
how to learn, it'll all be fine this time. And how to learn, know how to learn.
Now that it's done stabilizing, you can already see that the clip has become smoother and looks much more professional. Next step after stitching the clips is sound design. So in short, I download a bunch of sound effects, for example beach waves, waterfall, and boat sound effects. And then I layer them down the song. I'm not the most qualified person to talk about that, so I'm not going to dwell on that more, but I'm going to give you a link of Bryn North's sound design video to give you a better understanding on how it works. So feel free to check it out. I'll link it down below. So after doing the sound design, I color grade my video. So first step is creating an adjustment layer. We can do that by right clicking, new item, and find adjustment layer. Now drag it into your timeline and stretch it from the start to the end of your sequence. Let's say my video is just 40 seconds. Now that we have our adjustment layer, we type in Lumetri Color on the Effects tab and drag it into the adjustment layer. Now what I usually do first is applying a lot on the adjustment layer. So let's play the video with the lot applied.
How to learn, how to learn. It'll all be fine this time. How to learn, how to learn. 'Cause you always seem so kind. And how to learn, how to learn. It'll all be fine this time. And how to learn, how to learn.
So now that we have applied our LUT, notice that the lighting is not consistent. So what I do after applying the LUT is I manually edit each clip by putting Lumetri Color on each clip and adjusting the different settings to make all the clips consistent in terms of color. If you don't have LUTs yet, don't worry. You can actually download free LUTs on the web or purchase one. Second option is you can edit manually through the Lumetri Color effect and save it as a LUT afterwards. It's basically like a preset for a video. So as you can see, it's similar to when you're editing photos. My best advice is just to experiment on those tweaks and figure out what look you want. Now let's play the video to see how it looks.
How to learn, how to learn. It'll all be fine this time. How to learn, how to learn. 'Cause you always seem so kind. And how to learn, how to learn. It'll all be fine this time. And how to learn, how to learn.
I think it does not look bad and the colors are more consistent. Now that we have finished color grading, after reviewing your video, the next step is exporting. We click File on the upper left corner, then choose Export, and then click Media. Now the export settings has appeared. Usually the only settings I change is the format. which is H.264. And I make a custom preset with a size of 1080 by 1920p. I also click the match source and use max render capacity. Now, after all of that, hit export and wait for your video to finish exporting. So that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Peace.